Football more than a game, a heartbeat for billions, a dream that crosses borders, cultures, and generations. Every 4 years, the world stops breathing. Not for war, not for crisis, but for a ball, a pitch, and a dream called the FIFA World Cup. This is not just a tournament. This is a story of legends, heartbreaks, miracles, tears, and immortality. From muddy grounds to billion-dollar stadiums. From leather balls to VAR technology. From black and white broadcasts to 4K live drama. From nameless hopefuls to icons written forever in the pages of history. This is the complete story of the Football World Cup. Every World Cup, every champion, every hero, every heartbreak, every goal that shook the world. Globe showing Europe, Africa, where football began. It all started in 1930, Uruguay. A small country with a big dream hosted the first ever World Cup. Only 13 teams. Wooden stands. No fancy lights. Just passion, sweat, and raw hunger. That day, football changed forever. And Uruguay, they carved their names in history, the first ever World Cup champions. But that was only the beginning. Trophy rise of legends. As time moved, legends rose like kings on a battlefield, each tournament producing new warriors of the sport. Soccer ball Pelé, the teenage magician, the boy who became a god, crying under the stadium lights after winning at just 17. 3 World Cups, the greatest dynasty ever seen. Soccer ball Maradona, the rebel genius, a man who fought the world with his feet, the hand of God, and the goal of the century, all in one match. He didn't just play football, he lifted a nation on his shoulders. Soccer ball Zidane, the artist with elegance and fire, the gentle ballerina on the field, and the warrior who headbutted destiny. Soccer ball Ronaldo Nazario, the phenomenon, a comeback from injury that shocked the world. A redemption story crowned with goals and glory. Soccer ball Messi and Ronaldo era. 2 titans, 2 different universes. One mission, greatness. One found his destiny in Qatar 2022, lifting gold. Football more than a game, a heartbeat for billions. A dream that crosses borders, cultures, and generations. Every 4 years, the world stops breathing. Not for war, not for crisis, but for a ball, a pitch, and a dream called the FIFA World Cup. This is not just a tournament. This is a story of legends, heartbreaks, miracles, tears, and immortality. From muddy grounds to billion-dollar stadiums. From leather balls to VAR technology. From black and white broadcasts to 4K live drama. From nameless hopefuls to icons written forever in the pages of history. This is the complete story of the Football World Cup. Every World Cup, every champion, every hero, every heartbreak, every goal that shook the world. Globe showing Europe, Africa, where football began. It all started in 1930, Uruguay. A small country with a big dream hosted the first ever World Cup. Only 13 teams. Wooden stands. No fancy lights. Just passion, sweat, and raw hunger. That day, football changed forever. And Uruguay, they carved their names in history, the first ever World Cup champions. But that was only the beginning. Trophy rise of legends. As time moved, legends rose like kings on a battlefield, each tournament producing new warriors of the sport. Soccer ball Pelé, the teenage magician, the boy who became a god, crying under the stadium lights after winning at just 17. 3 World Cups, the greatest dynasty ever seen. Soccer ball Maradona, the rebel genius, a man who fought the world with his feet, the hand of God, and the goal of the century, all in one match. He didn't just play football, he lifted a nation on his shoulders. Soccer ball Zidane, the artist with elegance and fire, the gentle ballerina on the field, and the warrior who headbutted destiny. Soccer ball Ronaldo Nazario, the phenomenon, a comeback from injury that shocked the world. A redemption story crowned with goals and glory. Soccer ball Messi and Ronaldo era. 2 titans, 2 different universes. One mission, greatness. One found his destiny in Qatar 2022, lifting gold. lifting a billion hearts, ending the debate for many. Cross swords kings, giants and fallen warriors. But greatness isn't only about winning. There were heartbreaks too. Broken heart nation that believed and fell. Broken heart heroes who came so close, but destiny slipped away. Broken heart tears on the pitch. From the legendary Roberto Baggio in 1994 to Lionel Messi in 2014, before destiny rewarded him in 2022. Football gives, football takes, and then sometimes it gives again. Glowing stars who shined on the biggest stage. Every World Cup births stars who become immortal. Trophy Pelé the king. Trophy Maradona the soul. Trophy Zidane elegance. Trophy R9 Ronaldo power and redemption. Trophy Ronaldinho joy and magic. Trophy Xavi and Iniesta brains and beauty. Trophy Klose the silent assassin top scorer. Trophy Messi the chosen one. Trophy Mbappe the future. And then there were forgotten heroes. Italy Paolo Rossi. Germany Gerd Müller. Argentina Mario Kempes. France Thuram. Brazil Rivaldo. Croatia Modric. Ghana Asamoah Gyan. Africa's heartbreak warrior. Names carved in passion, not just trophies. Globe showing Europe-Africa World Cup is more than football. It's nations united by love and heartbreak. It's Brazil's samba tears, Germany's machine dominance, Argentina's soul, Italy's tactical poetry, France's new dynasty, England's eternal dream, Spain's tiki-taka revolution, Croatia's fighting spirit, African nations breaking barriers, Asian shocks on the global stage. It's war turned to sport, dreams born in the dust and streets, kids chasing footballs barefoot, who become global icons. Fire drama, emotions, and eternal moments. Think back. Pushpin Maracanazo, Brazil's heartbreak in 1950. Pushpin West versus East politics in Cold War World Cups. Pushpin 1970 Brazil art on grass. Pushpin Maradona versus the world in 1986. Pushpin France rewriting destiny in 1998 and 2018. Pushpin Germany 7-1 Brazil the shock of 2014. Pushpin Messi's tears in 2014 and his glory in 2022. Pushpin Mbappe's hat-trick in a final history reborn. From wars and divided countries to technology changing the game. Every era shaped football. Every World Cup changed the world. Movie camera what this documentary covers. In this video we will travel through time. White heavy checkmark every football World Cup story. White heavy checkmark host nations, heroes and villains. White heavy checkmark star players of each era. White heavy checkmark top goals, shocking moments and controversies. White heavy checkmark golden boot scorers and golden ball winners. White heavy checkmark final heartbreaks and legendary wins. White heavy checkmark records that stand forever. White heavy checkmark unknown stories and hidden chapters. White heavy checkmark emotional moments that shook fans worldwide. From Uruguay 1930 to Qatar 2022 and beyond into the future, this is football. This is history. This is life, love, pain, passion. All in 90 minutes. Brain because football is not just played, it is felt. Crowds crying, flags waving, anthem roaring, players kneeling to pray, hands over hearts, tears falling as the whistle blows. No matter where you're from, Pakistan, India, Brazil, Argentina, France, Africa, Middle East, Europe, you know the feeling. Football doesn't speak language. Football is the language. And the World Cup, it is the summit of human passion. Studio microphone closing of intro. So sit back, tighten your seatbelt, and step with me into time. From legends who are gone, to heroes still writing history, to future warriors waiting to be discovered. This is the story of the Football World Cup. The game that changed the world. The dream that never ends. Welcome to the greatest story in sports history. This is all Football World Cup story. The World Cup story, 1950 to 1970. The shock of 1950 lingered like a scar across Brazil's football soul. For years, the Maracana stood not as a monument of glory, but as a graveyard of dreams. A painful reminder that even destiny can be interrupted by one moment, one shot, one heartbreak. Families whispered about the match like it was a national tragedy. Fathers lowered their heads. Old men wiped tears. Children grew up hearing a single story: the day Brazil trusted fate, and fate betrayed them. Among those children was a skinny boy with hungry eyes and fire in his heart, Edson Arantes do Nascimento. The world would call him Pelé. Born into poverty, playing barefoot using socks tied as footballs, he had a dream larger than hunger: to make his father stop crying about 1950. Football wasn't just his game. It was his revenge on destiny. The world moved forward. Nations rebuilt. Stadiums filled again. The football gods awaited new heroes. And in 1954, Switzerland, the stage was set for what would be known forever as the Miracle of Bern. Germany 1954. The underdog warriors rise. Europe still shook from the memory of war. Germany was broken, divided, doubted. No one expected them to be champions. They arrived not as giants, but as survivors. The world didn't fear them, it pitied them. Hungary, meanwhile, was a golden machine. They hadn't lost in years, the magical Magyars, led by Puskás, a genius, an artist, a commander of football ballet. They destroyed West Germany 8-3 in the group stage. Journalists said the trophy should simply be handed to Hungary. The final felt like formality. But football loves the impossible. Rain poured. The ball stuck in mud. Hungary scored twice early, the script seemed clear. But Germany, wounded, silent, determined, fought like a nation fighting for identity. They scored. Then again. 2-2. And in the 84th minute, Ron struck a shot low and destiny bent once again. Germany 3-2 Hungary. A miracle. A rebirth. A nation cried again, this time in triumph. Hungary's legend broke that day. But football does that, even kings must fall. Glowing Star 1958, the boy who became a king. Sweden, 1958. Brazil arrived with weight, expectation, history wrapped around them. The ghosts of 1950 followed. But this time they brought a weapon destiny had sculpted. A 17-year-old boy. Quiet. Humble. Terrifyingly gifted. Pelé. At first he sat on the bench. Too young, they said. Too fragile, they feared. But when he stepped onto the pitch, the world stared. He danced past defenders like wind through leaves. He didn't run, he floated. He didn't shoot, he painted goals. Quarterfinal. A hat trick versus France at 17. Final versus Sweden. 2 more goals. One a flick over a defender and volley that froze time. Crowd silent, then roaring, then in tears. The smallest kid from the poorest streets became the youngest champion in World Cup history. He collapsed on teammates' shoulders, crying like a child because he still was one. Brazil were champions at last. A nation healed. A boy became king. Pelé wasn't just a player. He was prophecy fulfilled. Fire 1962. A kingdom tested. Chile. Warmer skies, colder hearts. Rough tackles, harsh pitches. Brazil arrived as champions, but champions carry a target. Every team wanted their crown. Pelé got injured early, heartbreak for millions. But Brazil was no longer one boy, they were a dynasty. Garrincha, the angel with crooked legs, bent the world with dribbles that felt illegal to physics. He smiled as he destroyed defenders. He joked as he humiliated giants. If Pelé was the sun, Garrincha was the moon, gentle light, endless magic. Brazil lifted the trophy again. Back-to-back champions. From tears in Maracana to kings of the world. But destiny always saves drama for later. Black Flag 1966, the year the crown cracked. England, the home of football, hosted. It was time to bring the trophy home. But football is cruel to royalty. Brazil suffered brutality, hacked down, unprotected. Pelé limped. Garrincha faded. The champions fell early. And in this chaos, England rose. A nation that invented the game would finally touch its golden dream. Wembley roared. Queen watched. The final versus West Germany was war disguised as sport. Extra time. Jeff Hurst shot. Bar rattled. Ball bounced. Debate that still lives today. Did it cross the line? Referee pointed to center circle. Goal given. England surged, Germany stunned. Then one last counter. Stadium screaming. Commentary etched into eternity. Some people are on the pitch. They think it's all over. It is now. England 4, Germany 2. A home finally crowned. History born, controversy eternal. Pelé watched from afar, hurting, learning. His return would be thunder. Crown 1970, the greatest team ever. Mexico. Sun high. Azteca roaring. Football entered a new age, color TV, global audience, modern tactics versus raw genius. And Brazil returned, older Pelé, wiser Pelé, still magical Pelé. But this time he wasn't alone. Rivellino, Jairzinho, Tostao, Clodoaldo. A team so perfect, even angels would applaud. Worlds collided in the final, Brazil versus Italy. A duel of beauty versus discipline. Rhythm versus defense. Samba versus steel. Brazil didn't play football, they sang it. Every pass a lyric, every dribble poetry, every touch a heartbeat. Final moment, Carlos Alberto's goal. A move starting from their own half. Fluid, calm, beautiful. Pelé's soft pass like silk. Alberto thundering finish. The greatest team goal ever scored. Brazil lifted the trophy for the third time and kept it forever. Pelé lifted his hands to the sky. Tears, joy, legacy. 3 World Cups. A king beyond doubt. Football bowed. Globe showing Europe, Africa, a shift in the universe. 1950 to 1970, 2 decades where football grew from street passion to global religion. Where a nation broke, healed, then ruled. Where kids became kings and dreams outran destiny. From Uruguay shock, to Hungary heartbreak, to Germany rising from ashes, to Brazil carving poetry into the planet. The world saw more than football. It saw resilience, pain, triumph, art, humanity in motion. And as the 70s dawned, one era closed. Pelé walked away, a king leaving his throne untouchable. The torch would pass, not to one man but many. New stories, new battles, new heartbreaks waited ahead. The world would soon meet rebels like Maradona, artists like Zidane, warriors like Ronaldo, magicians like Messi, machines like Germany, dreamers like France, believers like Argentina, and stars not yet born, kicking balls in alleys, waiting for destiny. But this golden age was the heartbeat of football. The moment the sport became the world's language. Where the game stopped being a game and became legend. The rebellion, the genius, and the rise of machines, 1974 to 1990. Football had crowned its king in Pelé. He bowed, walked away, and left the throne glowing gold. The world stared at that empty seat, wondering who would dare sit upon it next. The 70s were not gentle, they came like a storm. New philosophies rose, nations evolved, and the beautiful game began to turn into a science, a system, a rhythm beyond imagination. The world needed a new prophet, and one arrived, but unlike Pelé, he didn't smile, he rebelled. Brain 1974, total football and the prophet of revolution. Germany hosted the next stage of destiny, but the story began in Orange, the Netherlands. They didn't run. They moved like waves. They didn't defend or attack. They transformed fluidly, like art that refused to stay inside a frame. It wasn't football. It was total football. And at the heart of it, Johan Cruyff. Not just a player, a thinker, a visionary, a rebel king. He didn't just want to win. He wanted to change the game. Cruyff glided like poetry in motion, vision like X-ray, control like silk. The crowd didn't cheer, they gasped. The world wasn't watching a competition. It was witnessing evolution. In every pass, every movement, the Dutch tore apart logic. They humiliated giants, danced past tactics, and made football look like a dream choreographed by the gods. And then came the final, the mighty West Germany. Germany was structure, discipline, grit. Netherlands dazzled first. A penalty in the opening seconds, before Germany even touched the ball. Felt like destiny again. But football has a strange love for heartbreak. Germany absorbed the magic, silenced the orchestra, and stabbed through with precision. Score by score, moment by moment, they broke Dutch rhythm. At full time, Germany 2, Netherlands 1. Cruyff had changed football forever, but left without a crown. Sometimes legends don't need trophies. Sometimes they leave ideas instead, ideas that never die. The world didn't know yet, but in decades, Cruyff's philosophy would shape Barcelona, Spain's golden era, and Lionel Messi himself. Kings don't always hold cups. Some build empires in minds. Lion Face 1978. Argentina's first glory. Argentina. A land of passion, chaos, music, street football, and dreams that fought through poverty and politics. In 1978, the World Cup arrived in Buenos Aires, and the stadiums felt alive, like the heartbeat of millions vibrating in the stands. The Netherlands returned, again brilliant, again feared, but Cruyff didn't come. Political tension, threats, and personal choice kept the prophet home. The soul of total football stayed away, and Argentina smelled opportunity. Mario Kempes rose like lightning, hair flying, heart burning, eyes hungry. He scored, he fought, he carried a nation. Every goal felt like rebellion, every cheer like a nation breaking chains around its spirit. The final, dramatic, emotional Argentina 3, Netherlands 1. For the first time, Argentina lifted the trophy. People cried in streets, strangers hugged strangers, drums echoed, fireworks lit skies. A dream achieved. Fate had kissed them, but destiny still had bigger plans. A little boy in Villa Fiorito was watching, barefoot, hungry, daring to believe. His name was Diego Armando Maradona. Collision 1982, the magician arrives, but glory waits. Spain hosted next, and Diego came short, stocky, furious with talent. Not graceful like Pelé, not tactician like Cruyff. Maradona was fire, raw, untamed, divine and dangerous at once. But greatness isn't gifted easily. 1982 wasn't his time. He was fouled, kicked, hunted on the pitch like prey. One match boiled over, frustration erupted, his boot flung into an opponent. Red card, humiliation, early exit. Newspapers mocked. Critics celebrated his fall.
Champion?
Italy, led by Paolo Rossi, a man once banned, now reborn. His goals crushed Brazil's golden generation. Zico, Socrates, Falcao, artists undone by one ruthless finisher. Italy lifted their third trophy. Rossi stood tall. Brazil cried again. Maradona learned. Sometimes destiny delays glory to make legends unforgettable. High Voltage 1986, the hand of God and the goal of the century. Mexico, heat shimmering. Azteca roaring. And the world waited because Diego had grown teeth. He arrived not to play but to conquer. He carried a broken country on his back. People scarred by dictatorship. Economy crumbling. Spirits tired. Argentina needed hope. They found a footballing storm. Quarter-final. Argentina versus England. History, war, politics, the field felt like battlefield. And within 4 minutes, Diego wrote the greatest cinematic scene ever witnessed. First, the hand of God. A cheeky punch disguised as a header, a moment controversial, cunning, wild. The world exploded. Arguments, fury, laughter, disbelief. But destiny wasn't done. Seconds later, the purest beauty football ever touched. He took the ball in his own half. One defender, 2, 3, 4. The goalkeeper. Bodies fell like dominoes behind him. Composure, grace, power, genius. Goal. The goal of the century. Commentators lost their minds. Fans cried. England froze. Argentina soared. Diego wasn't human that day. He was above it, fate inside boots. Final came against West Germany again. Argentina led. Germany equalized. Drama boiling. Heart suffocating. Then Burruchaga ran through like a bullet. Diego's pass slicing the world. Goal eruption. Argentina 3, Germany 2. Diego Maradona held the world in one hand, trophy in the other. He didn't just win, he became eternal. A flawed genius. An angel with dirt on his wings. Football wasn't about perfection anymore. It was about magic you could feel, pain you could understand, glory you could cry for. Building construction 1990, the rise of machines. Italy hosted. The Colosseum spirit returned. And the world turned gritty, tactical. Germany marched like precision robots, organized, relentless, emotionless efficiency. Argentina returned too, but Diego's legs hurt, team weaker, fatigue heavy. The drama was cruel. Battles tight, goals rare, tears common. Argentina scraped through rounds with heart and prayer, not brilliance. Final, again Argentina versus West Germany. But this time no miracle, no poetry, only German steel. A late penalty pierced Argentine souls. Germany lifted their third World Cup. Maradona cried not like a hero but like a wounded warrior. Cameras caught his tears. Pure, human, heartbreaking. In that moment the era shifted. From art to structure. From chaos to order. From genius to system. Football had met its machine. Germany wasn't magic, they were discipline turned into destiny. Sunrise over mountains and the world waited again. The world had seen three philosophies shape football. Brazilian beauty and spiritual samba. Dutch intelligence and positional revolution. German discipline, metal and mechanics. Maradona's wild genius and street fire. And somewhere, silently, the future prepared more legends. Boys in streets of France juggling dreams. Kids in Portugal dribbling on beach dust. Little prodigies in Rosario, Argentina, chasing shadows of greatness. Italy sharpening defense like a sword. Africa rising. Asia dreaming. The world breathing football like religion. The stage was ready for new kings. Some elegant, some powerful, some poetic, some unstoppable. The ball waited. The world leaned forward. The next era would birth names like Ronaldo Nazário, Zinedine Zidane, Ronaldinho, Kaká,
Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi.
But before their magic, the world would witness heartbreak again. Joy, tears, glory, collapse, redemption. For football never gives without taking first. It is cruel. It is beautiful. It is life. The phenomenon, the artist, and modern legends, 1994 to 2006. The 1990s dawned, and the world of football had changed once again. Machines and discipline had ruled in the previous era, but a new wave of talent was rising. Football now belonged to the artists, the prodigies, the relentless strikers, and the magical midfielders, players who could inspire nations with a single touch of the ball. And in this age, Brazil remained the heartbeat of the game. But the world was about to meet a phenomenon named Ronaldo Nazário. United States 1994, Brazil returns, but shadows loom. The United States hosted the 1994 World Cup, a country where football was still finding its soul. Stadiums were bright, crowds diverse, and the world watched with curiosity. Brazil came as favorites, carrying the weight of 5 previous titles, but expectations were enormous. The tournament was a mix of heartbreak and tactical battles, low-scoring matches, and intense duels. Ronaldo, only 17, had already made waves in Europe, and now he was stepping into the World Cup stage. Though he did not play every match, the world sensed that a legend was beginning to form. Brazil's blend of youth, talent, and experience combined to claim the trophy once again, defeating Italy in a penalty shootout, the first final in history to be decided this way. Brazil rejoiced, lifting the 4th World Cup. Yet the seeds of a new generation had just been planted. High Voltage 1998, Zidane and the French Revolution. By 1998, football had entered a new dimension. France hosted the World Cup, and the nation was ready to rewrite history. The streets of Paris, Marseille, and Lyon were alive with color and excitement. France's squad carried a mix of youth and experience, but at the center of it stood Zinedine Zidane, a magician in midfield with elegance in every touch, vision in every pass, and ice in his veins during the fiercest moments. Zidane led a team that would transform French football forever. In the final against Brazil, the world witnessed one of the most astonishing performances in football history. Zidane scored twice with precise headers, while the Brazilian squad struggled to find rhythm. Ronaldo, battling illness and controversy, couldn't perform to his legendary standards that day. France lifted their first World Cup, sending waves of emotion through the nation. Zidane, humble yet commanding, became a symbol of grace, intelligence, and national pride. A reminder that football is both mind and magic. Trophy 2002, Ronaldo's redemption and Brazil's triumph. Fast forward to 2002, to the Far East, where South Korea and Japan co-hosted the tournament. Ronaldo had suffered the worst nightmare of any footballer. Serious injuries, surgeries, and doubts about his ability to ever play again at the highest level. But champions are forged in fire, and Ronaldo returned not just to play, but to dominate. From the first match, he announced himself as the striker of destiny. Goals came in floods. Hat-tricks, solo runs, calm finishes under pressure. He scored 8 goals in the tournament, including 2 in the final against Germany. Every strike was a story of pain, perseverance, and rebirth. Brazil lifted their 5th World Cup, reclaiming their place as kings of football. Ronaldo, the phenomenon, had silenced critics and written a comeback story for the ages. Fans everywhere erupted, not just for the goals, but for the courage, spirit, and soul behind each one. Artist Palette 2006, Zidane's Swan Song. Germany 2006. The stage was set for elegance and drama. Zinedine Zidane, the maestro, had returned to lead France in what many knew would be his final World Cup. The tournament was a masterpiece of storytelling. Tight matches, miraculous saves, last-minute goals, and emotional journeys. Zidane's brilliance shone brightest in the final against Italy. 2 extra-time goals from Marco Materazzi and the defensive might of both sides kept the score locked. And then came the moment immortalized forever. Zidane, in a flash of rage and passion, headbutt Materazzi. The red card came and the world collectively gasped. France would lose on penalties, but Zidane's legend was eternal. His career ended with drama, emotion, and the bittersweet reality of football, that even the greatest can fall, but fall with grace and intensity. Globe showing Europe-Africa the evolution of modern football. This era revealed more than champions, it revealed how the world had grown. Football had become a global spectacle, with technology, television, sponsorships, and fan culture exploding worldwide. The game's language now transcended continents. A goal in Tokyo, a save in Rome, a tackle in Buenos Aires. Millions witnessed history unfold live, in ways previous generations could never imagine. Players like Ronaldinho, Kaká, and young prodigies in Europe and South America were already shaping the next chapter. Football was faster, smarter, and more global. And through it all, nations realized that while trophies mattered, the stories behind the goals, the struggles behind the heroes, and the emotion behind the cheers were what truly made the World Cup a spectacle unlike any other. High voltage, the heroes of this era. From 1994 to 2006, legends emerged not just for their trophies, but for their stories. Ronaldo Nazario, redemption incarnate, the phenomenon who defied injury and doubt. Zinedine Zidane, elegance, intelligence, and unforgettable drama. Rivaldo and Ronaldinho, joy and magic on the pitch, reminding the world that football is art. Klose and Cannavaro, defensive masters of Germany and Italy, proving brilliance isn't only in scoring. Brazil's Samba Warriors, demonstrating teamwork, creativity, and joy. Every match, every goal, every tackle told a story. This era was about triumph and tragedy, genius and redemption, magic and heartbreak. Football had become a global religion. Players were prophets, stadiums were cathedrals, and every World Cup match was scripture. Sunrise over mountains transitioned to a new era. By 2006, the game had changed again. Technology had begun to creep in. VAR was a distant idea, goal line tech was whispered about, and training had become scientific. Football was faster, more tactical, and increasingly physical, yet magic and creativity still found a way to shine. The stage was ready for the next legends. Lionel Messi, a boy from Rosario, Argentina, destined to carry dreams for millions. Cristiano Ronaldo, a prodigy from Madeira, Portugal, destined to challenge records, history, and hearts. Kylian Mbappe, emerging quietly in the wings, ready to become the new sensation. And while Pele's reign and Maradona's genius defined the past, the world now hungered for new stories. Football's heartbeat had shifted, but its soul remained timeless. Passion, pain, triumph, despair, and glory, all wrapped around a simple, perfect ball. The new era. Tactics, glory, and legends, 2010 to 2022. By 2010, the world of football had transformed. Stadiums glowed like palaces of light. Technology sharpened every detail. Cameras captured moments from every angle. Tactics were calculated with computers, and players trained like elite athletes of another planet. Yet, amid this evolution, football's soul remained the same. Passion, drama, and the magic of a single ball dictating the fate of billions. New heroes emerged. Teams were no longer just nations. They were machines of strategy, orchestras of talent, and battlegrounds for history. Fans no longer only watched. They felt, they cried, they lived every pass, tackle, and goal. And in this era, new philosophies dominated the pitch, and new legends carved their names into eternity. South Africa 2010, Spain and the Tiki-Taka Revolution. South Africa 2010. The first World Cup held on African soil. Stadiums, sunlight, and the roar of the crowd reflected the continent's heartbeat. And Spain, the nation famous for artistry in midfield, arrived with a mission: to rewrite footballing history with intelligence, precision, and patience. Led by Xavi, Andres Iniesta, and Captain Iker Casillas, Spain introduced the world to tiki-taka, a style built on relentless possession, short passes, spatial awareness, and patience that frustrated opponents and mesmerized spectators. Matches were chess games. Every pass was a strategy, every move a plan executed to perfection. The final against the Netherlands was dramatic, tight, physical, and tactical. Both teams fought like warriors, fouls and yellow cards flying. And in the 116th minute, Iniesta struck. Calm, precise finish. Goal. Spain crowned champions for the first time in history. The world cheered, and tiki-taka became a global footballing doctrine. Art had conquered again, but this time through patience and intelligence, not just raw skill. Brazil 2014, Brazil, Germany, and the machine that shocked the world. 4 years later, Brazil hosted the 2014 World Cup. The nation dreamed of redemption, of reliving the magic of past eras. Fans painted stadiums yellow and green. Samba filled the streets, and hearts were ready for joy. Brazil's team carried history on its shoulders. Neymar, Thiago Silva, and others represented a new generation, young, gifted, and hungry. But football is cruel, and history has a way of teaching harsh lessons. Germany, a nation of tactical perfection and mental toughness, arrived like a storm. The semi-final against Brazil turned into the single greatest shock in World Cup history. Germany 7-1 Brazil. The Maracana wept. Tears, silence, disbelief. Samba had been silenced by precision. It was a massacre, a lesson in humility, a reminder that football is unforgiving. The final saw Germany lift their fourth World Cup after defeating Argentina 1-0 in extra time. Mario Götze scored the winning goal, a delicate, precise touch that ended the match and elevated Germany to legend. They were no longer just machines. They were poetry in strategy, masters of the modern game, and kings of mental and physical dominance. Russia 2018, France and the rise of a new generation. Russia 2018. A new era dawned. Football had become faster, more athletic, more tactical, but still magical. France, a nation with history, talent, and youth, arrived with a squad blending brilliance and hunger. Kylian Mbappe, a teenager from Bondy, France, ran faster than anyone thought possible, scoring with power and grace. Final. France versus Croatia. Croatia had hearts of lions. Luka Modric orchestrating the midfield, Ivan Perisic striking with precision, but France's youth, speed, and intelligence prevailed. 4-2. France crowned champions, producing a new generation of stars and proving that football is as much about evolution as it is about legacy. Mbappe had arrived on the global stage, a symbol of hope, speed, and future greatness. Antoine Griezmann, Hugo Lloris, and Paul Pogba also shone, building a team that combined discipline, intelligence, and flair. France's triumph represented the next chapter in football. Speed, youth, and genius blending seamlessly with experience. Qatar 2022, Messi's destiny fulfilled. Finally, the world turned to Qatar 2022, a tournament like no other. Technologically advanced stadiums, scorching heat, but hearts burning brighter than ever. The question on everyone's lips: could Lionel Messi, the magician of Argentina, finally lift the World Cup? For years, he had been the greatest player of his generation, winning every other trophy, breaking every record. Yet the World Cup had eluded him. Argentina's journey was epic. Matches filled with drama, tension, heartbreak, and redemption. Messi's brilliance led them through, while emerging talents like Julian Alvarez and Enzo Fernandez provided energy, skill, and passion. The final against France became an instant classic, two titans of football clashing in an emotional roller coaster. Goals, penalties, extra-time heroics, and moments of pure genius defined the match. Messi scored, assisted, led, and inspired. When the final whistle blew, Argentina had won. Messi fell to his knees, tears flowing freely. He had finally completed his destiny, joining Pelé and Maradona as one of the immortals of football. The world cheered, cried, and celebrated a story 20 years in the making. Football had crowned its greatest magician. Glowing star, the new generation and the future of football. Messi's victory did not end the story. Football's heartbeat continues, with Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland, Jude Bellingham, and countless other young talents emerging as the new heroes. The game has grown global, faster, smarter, more tactical, but the essence remains the same: drama, magic, and the pursuit of glory. Stadiums now feel like theaters. Every match tells a story. Every goal is poetry. And the World Cup, after nearly a century, still unites the world, transcending borders, cultures, and language. Football is life, passion, and history, all in motion on a pitch. The cycle of legends continues. Pelé, Maradona, Zidane, Ronaldo, Messi, and the next generation ready to write the next chapters in this eternal saga. The eternal magic of football. As the final whistle blows, as the stadium lights fade, and as the crowds slowly drift away, one truth remains. Football is more than a game. It is passion, history, heartbreak, and glory woven into 90 minutes of pure emotion. From the dusty streets of Uruguay in 1930 to the roaring stadiums of Qatar in 2022, the World Cup has always been a stage where dreams collide with destiny, where heroes are forged and legends are immortal.